Okay. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
So today we want to do literature review.
Yeah, I'm not there right now. I'll be coming around.
Literature review. Which is recognized as the chapter 2 of your research report. Literature review.
There, Mount Audrey, Kokotoma Kabra.
The literature review, like the first one, that is the introduction, is also built based on your conceptual framework. The literature review, like the introduction, is also built based on your conceptual framework. So you see that everything that we are doing hovers around what? Your conceptual framework or conceptual model. So when we talk about literature, what are we talking about? Literature. I'm not adding the review. Literature. When we say literature, what are we talking about? Literature. What are we talking about?
People's ideas and concepts.
People's ideas on
The
concepts,
What
issues,
said about concepts.
and all those things. Okay. Remember that the research that we are going to do is based on the opinions, the views of other people that we are also establishing the grounds to do the study. So whenever you want to do any study, you have to also look at existing studies, what other people have done in that area. So literary works are, documentation of knowledge or what? Information or ideas. So it can come in so many forms. Literature can come in so many forms. Okay. Assuming that our current generation is dead and gone.
Okay.
All of us, we have died one day. And one day, somebody comes to this place. What are some of the things the person will use to be able to know that people have lived here? To know about things that were happening here.
What people wrote?
So what people wrote? The symbols, the culture, the design, recorded videos, recorded audios, written words, and all those things. So when we talk about literature, it embodies all these things. It shouldn't always be like literature talks about only things that have been written. Yesterday I was watching a video, I was learning. It's a literary source of what information. So if I can cite properly where I got the video, they can also cross-check and see whether what I said is right or not. This lecture we are recording, which is a literary work. When we are done, we put it up there, people can still take it and learn something out of it. Is that not it? So let's not think that literature is only about the written aspect. Both written and what? Non-written, verbal and what? Non-verbal. That's why archaeological research, they can go and study a bone that has been there over 7 billion years. And be able to document something about it. Okay. So let's look at review. When we talk about the review, we are saying that you are assessing the literature as it appears in your area of study. You understand? You are assessing the literature as it what appears in your area of what study. There could be so many information out there, but you are interested in information that are related to what you are writing about. So you have to gather information that relates to the research topic that you are researching about. That's all. Review also means that you also get the literature, then you synthesize it. You draw logical conclusions about them. You do arguments about them, and a host of other things that will let people know that you really understand the concepts, the theories, and the issues that you are dealing with. Why do we have to do literature review? Why do we have to do literature review? First, if you do literature review, it will help you to understand the concept that you are studying about. It will help you to understand the concepts that you are studying about. A good literature review will also help you to be able to identify your theories and then review the theories to support the argument that you are bringing on board through your research. So it will help you to be able to understand the theories, and juxtapose the theories in the context of the study, and juxtapose the theories in the context of the study. It also serves as a background to which you can compare your results to. Okay? If you do proper literature review, when you are done with your research or when you are done with your findings, you compare what you have found to what the literature is saying. And that will help you to know whether you'll be able to solve some of the issues that you raised, or the issues are still persistent. So, that is the function of what literature review. Now let's look at the components of literature review. Components. At least, if you are doing a research, you should think about at least 4 things, okay? First is the theories. So you have theoretical review. You have to think about the theories. So you have to have what you call theoretical review. You have to also think about the concepts that you are talking about. Is that not it? The concept or the variables or the constructs. So we also have conceptual review. Conceptual review. Apart from the concepts, you have to also establish empirical evidence, right? You have to establish empirical evidence to support the relationship you are talking about in your conceptual framework. Remember?
Yes, sir.
So that is what we call conceptual review. Sorry, empirical review. So you have to do empirical review at the third component, empirical review. Then the last one, you will propose an idea. You are proposing an idea through your conceptual framework, right? Or through your model. So the last one becomes conceptual framework or model specification. Conceptual framework or model specification. Conceptual framework or model specification. So if you understand the thing clearly, you see that the concept, you have already seen them in the conceptual framework. Sorry, the theories, you have seen them, right? The concept, you have seen them, right? And then empirical evidence, and then your conceptual framework or model. So that is why I say that your conceptual framework is what determines what goes into the literature review, right? This is the conceptual framework. You have to explain the theories. Remember, the theories explain the relationship. Is that not it?
Yes, sir.
That is the first component. Then you come and explain the concept for us. That is the conceptual review. What the meaning, definitions, and all those things, right?
Okay.
After that, you have to use empirical evidence to establish what? The relationship. So that's why you see empirical review there. To establish the relationship. Then after that, you bring this conceptual framework to explain what you are really doing. Okay, you bring the conceptual framework to explain what you are really doing. So That is it. So let's now go and pick them one by one. No problem. Let's go and pick them one by one and start to look at what they are.
Alright.
Good. So we are beginning with theoretical review. Theoretical review. Theoretical review. You want to have the skill of doing it. Okay? You want to have the skill of doing that thing. So we want to have the skill of doing the theoretical review. Okay. So if you pick any theory, let's look at what you have to do about that theory. And you can, after that, you can do a good theoretical review. First of all, if you pick every theory, you have to talk about who wrote the theory. Who? So the authors or the propounders of the theory. You should tell us who brought that particular theory. If it is about contingency theory, tell us who brought the theory. If it is about Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory, who wrote it? If it is about effort-reward imbalance theory, who wrote it? If it is about agency theory, who wrote it? If it is about systems theory, who wrote it? If it is about resource dependency theory, who wrote it? If it is about information processing theory, who wrote it? At least I've been mentioning a lot of dynamic capability theory. Is that not it? Knowledge-based view theory. You should be able to tell us who wrote the theory. After that, your review should tell us when the theory came into existence. It is only in the Bible and the so-called holy books that they don't tell us when they wrote them. Matthew chapter 5 verse 5, when was it written? Because time is very relevant in literature. Because time also connotes conditions. When was that theory propounded? 1970s, 2003, 2024, or what? We are in 2024, right? Let's document this video. We are doing it in, today's date is what? 4 what? April 2024. After we are dead and gone, people will watch this video and they know that it was recorded in 4 April 2024. That's 500 years, 600 years, 7,000 years. If the video is still relevant. Do you see what why I'm saying that you have to bring the years?
Yes.
Because the years will connote the relevance of the theory or not. Every theory also have what we call central theme. Central theme. Or the thrust. The thrust of the theory. What does the theory say? What does the theory says? I will use the agency theory, for instance, as an example. It says that there are relationships when it comes to businesses. You have the principals and you have the agents. The principals are the owners of the resources, and they give these resources to this agent. And the agents work on the resources to generate returns so that the investors or the owners will also enjoy. Is that not it? However, there's a possibility that they will be what we call self-help daily. They are likely to work, the agents are likely to work and rather benefit more than the principal because of information asymmetry. They already know much things that they don't even pass on the information to the investors. That is the theory. That is the central thrust of the theory. So every theory that you pick, you must have a central thrust or theme. The resource dependency theory says that businesses like human beings forge relationships, interfere relationships, because they believe that when they form the relationship, they will get benefit from the relationship. And because they are benefiting from the relationship, it creates a situation of what we call interdependency, and also brings about power struggles. The more you depend on somebody, the more that party becomes very powerful. And therefore that person can dictate the pace of the relationship and not you. So if you want to become powerful, do things that will make other people more dependent on you than you dependent on what? Others. Is that not it? That is the central focus of that particular theory. We have the resource-based view theory. It says that for firms to become more competitive and come out with superior performance, they must have resources and also the capabilities that support their core strategies. And for them to earn competitive advantage, the resources should be real, they should be valuable, they should be non-sustainable, and then the last one, inimitable. They shouldn't be, it's not easy to copy. And if you have resources that have these characteristics, then you'll be competitive enough and you'll win the market. That is the central thrust of the theory. So every theory that you are bringing on board, you should be able to tell us what? The central thrust. It can have so many issues embedded in the central theme or the thrust. But you have to talk about those that are relating to the ideas that you are channeling in your research. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You have to come up with the various dimensions of the trust that relate to the ideas that you are channeling in your research or you're advocating in your research. Because one, some of these theories, they don't have direct root from your area of study. Some of them, you are in business, right? But you see that some of the theories, they have their root in psychology, they have their root in sociology, they have their root in biology and the rest. At least systems theory emerged from what? Biology. Are you aware of that? Systems theory. But it has an aspect that you can bring on board when it comes to what? Business relationships. So you have to tease out that particular team or aspect of the team and then talk about it in your research. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So after that, some theories will only come to existence if certain assumptions are what? Persistent. So we have to talk about assumptions. Assumptions or principles. Assumptions or principles that give life to the theory. Let's look at the law of demand. All other things held what? So it means that that particular law of demand will only work unless you hold certain things constant. If you don't hold those things, that law will never work. Some of the theories too, unless certain things are held as what? Constant, the theories do not work. So that is why we have to come and talk about the assumptions or the principles underlying the theory. The principles give life to the theory, or they provide the conditions under which the theory works. Okay? The assumptions provide what? What did I say? The assumptions provide what? The conditions under which the theory works. So you should be able to tell us the theory, the assumptions and the principles relating to that particular theory. Apart from that, you can come and talk about scope of application of the theory. Scope of application of the theory. And by this, we have to reflect on which areas are this theory applied. And you can mostly get the scope of application by looking at empirical studies that have used a particular theory. You can know the scope of the theory by looking at what? Empirical studies that have used the theory. Maybe they have used the theory in supply chain context. They have used it in human resource development concepts. Or somebody has done a empirical study, but the study was about maybe information technology, and therefore they have used the theory in information technology. You understand it? Issues of taxation, for instance. Agency theory mostly works when it comes to what? Taxation. They state the principle that the tax agents being what? Agents. So when you are writing a research and it's about that one, you can say that the study, that particular theory has been used in this particular context. So that we will know that the theory is fitting the area of research. And you can get the evidence to prove whether the theory is supporting or not based on the empirical studies that have used the theory. So here, you have to draw your attention on empirical studies that have used the particular theory. You get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, after scope of application, then you come and talk about merits and what? Demerits. The merits are the relative strengths. The relative strengths of that particular theory. The relative strength of that particular theory. The demerits is about the criticisms. The criticisms that have been leveled against that particular theory. No theory is as holy as your law. Okay, no theory is as holy as what? Your law. They have their own limitations. For instance, I'm giving you an example. The resource-dependent, the resource-based view theory says that if you have these resources, you become competitive. But the dynamic capability theory says that no. Having the resources does not make you competitive because of changing situations. You have laptop. You don't know anything regarding how to use the laptop. Can you become competitive in the use of the laptop? No. That is why poverty is killing us. We are going to church, we are going to the mosque, and it is still killing us. Situational circumstances have changed. When did they write the Bible and the Quran? What were the things that were happening there? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I'm not attacking religion. But situations, changes in situations can make some of these things unfit for purpose. In our time, we are living in the era of what? AI, machine learning, data science. How other people are telling us we should pray. Jesus prayed and multiplied food. In our time, who can pray and multiply food? And feed 5,000 people with 7 bread with, or whatever, with bread and fish. Is that not it? In our time, who can do that? I'm really saying that changing circumstances are rendering some of these things powerless. In those days, they say somebody walk on the face of the sea. Fortunately, Gulf of Guinea is here. If you're a believer, go and walk. Changing circumstances. Now they are giving us the idea to come out with boat, shape, whatever. So that is what we are using now, not prayers and walking on the surface. You will die. So you see, that theory is discrediting the position by the resource-based result theory. And so the The static nature of the resource-based view theory is its weakness or its what? Demerit. Then the problem that was solved by the dynamic capability theory becomes its what? Its merit or its what? Strength. So you should be able to pinpoint the strength and the weaknesses associated with any particular what? Theory that you are using.
Okay.
If you have a theory and it has limitation in its application in your research, you have to state it. You can't say that your work is perfect, everything is okay. No. If you are able to demonstrate knowledge about weakness in your research, limitations in your research, it shows that you are mature. You don't want people to follow blindly. That's why you have to pinpoint the loopholes in your research. So the same thing, when there are some limitations associated with that particular theory, then you use it. You make it clear. And the next important thing is the link of the theory to your study. After you have said all these things, how do you link the theory to your study? Because if you use any theory, they will ask you, how does this theory manifest in your study? So, link of the theory to the study. Link of the theory to the study. Which theory are you using?
Resource-based view.
Resource-based view theory. Pecking order theory. How does pecking order theory link to your study? You should be able to demonstrate that. That one is very, very cardinal. You need it. It's basic. If you feel, then that theory is of no use. If you are saying the theory is working in your context of study and you cannot justify why it is working there, then there's no need for you to use the theory. So this one gives you, the researcher, to direct the focus of the knowledge or the information on how that theory is fitting in your context of what? Study. If you don't understand why it works, then I'm sorry about that. Nobody will allow you to use it. I'm doing a research on supply development and sustainable performance. Now, I went on to use a theory called the resource dependency theory. So, they will ask me, how does resource dependency theory manifest in your research? I will tell them, the cocoa bean suppliers or the farmers, they supply the beans that the licensed buying companies need. The licensed buying companies must support the cocoa farmers to be able to produce what they want. So because of that, they form what? Exchange what? Relationship. So that each of them will benefit from that kind of what? Relationship. So the buyers get the cocoa beans, and then the suppliers, they get the supplier development initiatives. Period. They will ask you, which objective is it underlying? Objective 1. So remember, we said that your conceptual framework is just proposing some relationships. And I told you about how the theory underpins those relationships, right? So if you are reviewing one particular theory and it goes to this one, then you use that theory to juxtapose the relationship between this and what? This variable. That's all. Then you explain it in practical terms, how that theory manifests in that kind of relationship that you are talking about. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So can you do one for me? Can you do one for me? You mentioned some theories. Resource-based view theory, pecking order theory, and what? Contingency theory. Okay, as an assignment, no. Pick in 5 minutes. Do review about pecking order theory. All of you. Off it for me. Do you have internet?
No.
Do you have internet?